I hate freaking Harry the Wolf doing the Cabbage Patch.
Why?
Have you seen it?
Yeah. It's good. It's on model.
Alright, bringing it back. Harry does the Cabbage Patch.
As if that's gonna show up if you search that.
I will see.
If it shows up, I'll give you your $1 back.
Oh, sweet. Does a lot on stage and he likes women of a certain age. Does the...
And the first 3 results.
Harry does the cabbage.
I'm gonna be so mad. Oh no.
There's no way. Thank God.
Thank God.
Cabbage Patch Kids turn 25.
Go to the right more.
How to
Keep
dance, the Cabbage Patch.
Keep
Wanna see if
going.
it's there.
We're getting close.
Wait, go to Cabbage Patch Bread as Harry Potter. I wanna watch that one.
Okay, it's 21 seconds. Ah! Oh!
God, the music is so loud.
I can hear my voice reverberating off the fucking sound waves. What the hell was that? I'm fuck this
That
shit.
video was cool.
Disclaimer! Crossing the Line is not a show intended to bully or harass anyone. Do not go out of your way to find or mess with the authors featured on our podcast. They make what we do possible, and we love them. And you. Thanks. Enjoy.
If you woke up and
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Crossing the Line, a fanfiction podcast.
Trust me, my question was bad.
A fanfiction podcast where we read, review, and critique fanfictions for your listening pleasure. As always, we are joined by your 3 favorite boys.
Blue breed.
At Virgil_vlogs. Wait, no, it's just at Virgil Vlogs.
And Swell Time G Pool.
Ernest P. Worrell.
And Ernest P. Worrell.
And Jim Varney.
Both of them.
Well, Vern, what we watching here today? Why are you staring at me, Vern?
Don't look at me like that.
Vern, what's wrong, Vern? This is how I always look at you, Vern.
Steven's skin stretched behind his ears. His face.
Vern, that's not very nice, Vern.
Steven's skin is turning pinker by the second.
I'm transforming into Ernest, Vern.
You're transforming into Hubba Bubba.
Hubba Vern.
6 feet of it.
Of a Venom.
Hubba Ernest. Dude.
What if the Venom virus from Spider-Man just turned you into Jim Varney?
It's a symbiote.
The symbiote. The Jim Varney symbiote.
Carnage!
It's just like a flesh-colored pile of goo with his face like chroma keyed onto it.
Majin Ernest.
Symbiote chroma key.
Just
God.
Hey Vern, want to become super powerful? It'll only cost you your soul.
We are Ernest.
Gotta get the big clock tower bell to knock Jim Varney out of you.
And then they made Anti-Ernest, which kills him.
What would Anti-Ernest sound like?
Anti-Ernest is just Ernest,
Him from
but...
the school movie where he gets the brain gain helmet.
You're right. Where his locker is another fucking dimension.
Run by Russian scientists. Oddly enough, we're doing a Goosebumps episode today.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up. I was about to suggest, what if you watch The Haunted Mask? If you look in the background where that fella has all the different haunted masks, one of them is indeed Ernest P. Worrell's face.
With his hat.
Yeah, his little blue hat.
That's part of his face.
Try the symbiote.
He tore it off with the rest of him.
Today's episode is special because I wrote my own story.
Woo!
Because I didn't have any interest. There weren't that many crossovers.
I tried to tell you.
I didn't want to be one of the people to sap somebody else's good one, so I just wrote my own. I fell asleep when I got home from work, and then I woke up and wrote it, and then I went to the store and came back and decided I was going to read it.
Oh, no.
We'll save that for the very end, though. That'll keep you listeners interested for this whole endeavor.
Oh,
It's short and sweet.
Yeah. Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Anyone want
Goosebumps.
to talk about their favorite Goosebumps memories?
My favorite Goosebumps book is Stay Out of the Basement.
Why?
I just thought it was really interesting, like, when I was younger, because it's just a scientist who makes a plant clone of himself, and it's like, I just thought that was really interesting. Also, the book is, like, gruesome compared to the show. In the show, he kills the plant clone by spraying him with friggin' a weed killer, and in the book, he gets sliced in half with an axe.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking up something relevant to
Okay.
what I'm gonna
Look
say.
up the Stay Out of the Basement episode.
No.
Come
Just to
on.
watch the whole one in the background of this episode.
Yeah.
Right. My favorite Goosebumps episode is the episode of Family Matters where Steve Urkel makes a puppet of himself. And the puppet is basically just the puppet from Goosebumps.
Slappy.
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 Yeah, it's like that. And also it sprays acid. If I remember correctly. It's Family Matters, Steve Urkel, and he has a puppet. It's like really weird and dark for a Family Matters thing.
I remember that. Genos got killed by that in One Punch Man. He was saving all those kids, and then all of a sudden, Slappy spat acid on his back and beat him. And then, then Moomin Rider came out of nowhere and was like, I can do it! Everyone's cheering for him. And Slappy fucking does that to him and he loses.
Does that, Steven. You can't say does that.
He grabs him, Slappy grabs him with his little puppet hand and slams him on the ground repeatedly.
Slappy from Family Matters.
And every time
Yeah, Slappy from
every
Sam-
time he hits the ground, it uses a different Hanna-Barbera sound effect.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that was the first enemy where One Punch Man had to use more than one punch. And he was like, oh shit, this puppet's pretty strong. And Slappy's like, I'm invincible! Then he hits him with a serious punch and he dies.
Oh no,
He
I
must
looked
have
up.
been made of mahogany.
Yeah, man, the strongest haunted mahogany.
It's Stevel, the name of his puppet.
Stevel.
I don't like that there's a Family Matters wiki and it includes Stevel.
I don't like that there's a Family Matters wiki.
Who took the time to create a Family Matters wiki?
What's there to write about fucking Urkel?
That's Stevel.
Stevel. Oh,
I'm looking
dude.
up the Stevel's kill scene.
I'm looking forward to season 2 of One Punch Man and the return of Stevel.
Yeah, me too. When's that gonna come out?
Yeah, man, I like it because like it rained paint thinner and he got bulkier the more thinner he got dropped on. And
Paint thinner?
yeah, paint thinner. Remember? That's how he got super strong and beat Purple Prisoner. All the paint thinner rained from the sky.
This is not good for our podcast.
Oh, Harry's right. I need to lie down. My name is Stephen Q. Urkel. My IQ is 196. I like cheese. I like popcorn, and I'm perfectly safe.
Stevel the first is that
My
boy.
name is Stephen Q. Urkel. My IQ is 196.
Steve Urkel walked away and said no. Look up Stevel chases Steve Urkel on YouTube.
Way to set the mood.
It's the
Yeah.
perfect Goosebumps
It
episode.
is pretty good. We gotta have a Stevel episode.
It's the only Goosebumps episode to feature a black character.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a bunch of Stevels.
You want to run that by me again?
Yeah, we can have us a Stevel
Not you.
episode.
That one.
Which one?
It's the only Goosebumps episode to feature a black character. That's why it's my favorite.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah, name one.
The trilogy. A three-parter.
Yeah.
Trilogy?
Yeah.
Two of the three main characters are Afro-American.
That's
I can
true.
say that.
They are Afro-American.
This has nothing to do with the fact that they're Afro-American characters, but the trilogy sounds like one of those movie series that features a monkey from the early 2000s or late 90s.
It doesn't, surprisingly, but it features the fantastic lead character Carl, the villain,
That's true.
who runs Carlsville.
God. I need
My-
to.
He's
Good.
very funny.
My main memory from the TV show Goosebumps, I think, is the second part of the Slappy one, where like it's a 2-story building, where he goes into the 2-story building of the
Which
people's
one?
house.
And he says,
Yeah,
I am
that's-
invincible, and gets shot by a lightning
Yeah,
bolt.
that's like the Return of the Living Dummy, where he has all like the
Yes.
different dummies in the basement.
I remember that one being scarier because like him being alone with you in a 2-story building is scarier because you can't just like run out the house.
That one was
You have
terrifying
to like
because
leave the window.
right. Then plus you go up in the basement and it just has all these marionettes hanging around looking at you and shit. And it's just
Terrifying.
yeah. I also like that in each one you have at least one dummy that turns on him. And I shit you not. In the first one, there's 2 dummies. There's Mr. Woody and Slappy. And Mr. Woody kills Slappy.
Whoa.
And then he becomes the living dummy of that arc. And then the second one is a new family with Slappy, which is the one with the different marionettes. And like another family dummy kills him, knocks him off the roof.
Dang.
And then there's Bride of the Living Dummy, where his bride fucking puts him through a saw.
Jeez. Poor
And-
Slappy.
And his soul takes over one of the kids in the show.
That's so funny to think about. Slappy like threatening these kids, and then this other puppet just like gag kills him every time
And
for
then
3 times in a row.
And then there's another. Well, no, that one he doesn't die via betrayal. That one he just gets fucking smashed.
Slappy threatens this kid and makes him terrified, and then this like girl puppet comes up and just picks him up by the shoulders and throws him in a buzzsaw.
I just hate that in the show continuity his soul can possess people. It's crazy.
They took The Haunting Hour off of Netflix, and I am livid about it.
That's ridiculous. That's a good show.
It is a good show. It's high-budget Goosebumps.
That's as good at, yeah, and the fucking Doll trilogy is like super legit scary.
Mm-hmm.
Then how can we have Netflix? How can we justify the cost of Netflix without Creamy Cold?
Without Creamy Cold, man.
Without Creamy Cold. I'm glad I haven't paid my subscription for 2 months.
Only the bold get the Creamy Cold.
There you go.
Steven, what do you do with all your money if you're not spending it on streaming services?
If I'm not spending on streaming services, I'm basically just rent, food, bills. That's pretty much it. I get a video game every now and then, but it's rare.
I see.
Yeah,
Will you be opening commissions soon?
probably.
I
Exciting.
see.
Yeah.
A tree branch just fell on his car, so I subscribed to Patreon.
Oh, you did?
I'm spending $5 a month to slowly pay off that window for you.
Oh, sweet. Which account are you? I need to see what you've liked and
I
disliked.
honestly don't know, and don't name drop it.
And you should too.
Help Steven repair the comical tree that fell on his car, or this car.
Repair the
fell on.
tree?
Yeah.
I ain't fixing that damn tree. I'm sawing its ass down. We ain't gonna have no more damn trees in this yard.
Subscribe to the Patreon so you too can help duct tape the tree branch back to its former glory.
Subscribe to my Patreon so I can invest in multiple bags of salt to fucking salt the ground so nothing can grow ever again.
So we can take turns parking under the duct tape tree to see whose lucky car gets tree branch next.
Play Wheel of Fuck You.
Wheel of tree branch versus duct tape.
I've got a
God,
couple
dude.
good ones. It's hard to decide.
Yeah,
There was only so many, so we've each picked out a few of them, assuming we're gonna like double up.
And I wrote my own.
Dippers.
Yeah, we're all very proud of you.
Yeah, man, it'll be fun.
You might not be so proud when I read it out loud, but hopefully
It's
okay.
I'll have a good time.
Steven, pick a finger.
Pick a finger. Left is always right.
Left it is.
Alright.
Alright, we're gonna jump right into this one that, according to the questions, is not finished, so that's gonna be
They
exciting.
never are. They usually just end when the story is about to actually start.
I mean, it is Goosebumps. And they do leave on cliffhangers often, so it makes sense. It fits in this context.
Yep.
Sakura Haruno.
Ah!
Whoa.
Siri,
Does
read us.
fanfic have paid ads now?
No, there's a button on the top that has headphones on it, and I'd never noticed it before. And
Oh.
apparently that button reads the story to you.
And now
Whoa.
reading this fan fiction.
Don't use that button. You'll never have to listen to us anymore.
It's not as funny. Or maybe it's funnier. Either way, it's not good.
We can have an entire podcast read aloud by voice to text to voice.
I had to, going through the process of submitting my own story today, I must say, I'm surprised so many little kids have submitted stories. It's kind of like, really
You actually put
stupid.
it on the website?
Yeah, well, it's
Sweet.
pending approval, but I'm like...
I see.
Pending approval.
Yeah, I'm sure
As
they
in, I
got...
submitted the file, but it's not showing up in my stories to post yet, so I assume there's some sort of approval process.
I'm sure it's not quality approval, though.
Alright, with that being said, we can get started on what you came here this whole time. Your beloved Goosebumps crossover stories. What are you going to be for Halloween? Ino Yamanaka asked. She moved her fork around in the bright yellow macaroni on her lunch tray, but didn't take a bite.
Bright yellow macaroni.
Sakura Haruno sighed and shook her head. The overhead light on the lunchroom ceiling made her straight pink gleam. I don't know, a witch maybe? Ino's mouth dropped open. You? A witch? Well, why not? Sakura demanded, staring across the long table at her fiend. I thought you were afraid of witches, Ino replied. She raised a forkful of macaronito.
Macaronito.
It says macaronito.
Spanish.
She raised a forkful of Oh, okay. There was a typo. But as promised, we do these verbatim, so...
Yep.
She raised a forkful of macaronito her mouth and started to chew. This macaroni is made of rubber, she complacent, chewing hard. Remind me to start packing a lunch. I am not afraid of witches, Sakura insisted, her eyes flashing angrily. You just think I'm a big scaredy cat, don't you? Ino giggled.
You just think I'm a big bitch, don't you?
Ino giggled. Yes. She flipped her blonde ponytail behind her shoulders with a quick toss of her head.
This is the most 90s Canadian action.
Hey, don't eat the macaroni. Really, Sakura, it's gross. She reached across the table to keep Sakura from raising her fork. But I'm starving, Sakura complained.
I'm so hungry, you know. You don't understand.
I want the macaronito.
Macaronito.
The lunchroom grew crowded and noisy. At the next table, a group of 5th grade boys were tossing a half-full milk carton back and forth.
Oh, don't do that, 5th grade boys.
Sakura saw Sasuke Uchiha ball up a bright red fruit roll-up and shove the whole sticky thing in his mouth.
What a cool guy.
That's my kind right there.
Sasuke has the strats.
He unraveled it from the paper and wound it back up.
Can you imagine Sasuke tediously doing that?
He just sitting there in between people throwing milk cartons around.
He took it off the roll, rolled it around his fist like sports tape, and then punched himself in the mouth. And ate
Stuck
it.
his whole fist in his mouth and
Yeah.
sucked it off.
No, no.
Sasuke's sticky hands.
5th grade no Sasuke. Yuck! She made a disgusted face at him. Then she turned back to Ino. I am not a scaredy cat, Ino. Just because everyone picks on me and... Sakura, what about last week? Remember? At my house? Ino ripped open a bag of tortilla chips and offered some across the table to her friend. You mean the ghost thing? Sakura replied, frowning. That was really stupid. Well, you believe it, Ino said with a mouthful of chips. You
Believe it.
really believed my attic was haunted. You should have seen the look on your face when the ceiling started to creak and we heard the footsteps up there.
I thought you were gonna say ceiling started to cave in. Yeah, I would have too, you know.
I can't believe you fell for that one.
Gotcha.
My parents' rundown attic. Sorry, I lost my place in all the upchuck.
The part where the roof caves in.
Yeah. That was so mean, Sakura complained, rolling her eyes. Then when you heard footsteps coming down the stairs, your face went all white and you screamed, Ino recalled. It was only Sasuke and Naruto. You know I'm afraid of ghosts, Sakura said, blushing. And snakes, and bugs, and loud noises, and dark rooms, and witches, Ino declared. I don't see why you have to make fun of me, Sakura pouted. She shoved her lunch tray
Sakura
away.
sounds like Chris Chan.
That was what my inflection was going for.
Thank God. No one makes fun of me.
I don't see why everyone always thinks it's so much fun to try and scare me. Even you, my best friend. I'm sorry, Ino said sincerely. She reached across the table and squeezed Sakura's wrist reassuringly. You're just so easy to scare, it's hard to resist. Here, want some more chips? She shoved the bag towards Sakura. Maybe I'll scare you someday, Sakura threatened. Her friend laughed. No way! Sakura continued to pout. She was 11, but she was tiny, and with a round face and a short stub of a nose, which she hated and wished would grow longer. She looked much younger. Ino, on the other hand, was tall, dark, and sophisticated looking. She had straight blonde hair behind her head in a ponytail. Her enormous dark eyes. Everyone who saw them together assumed that Ino was 12 or 13.
Damn.
But actually...
I'm
getting hot and bothered.
Who wrote this?
But actually...
R.L. Stein. It's okay.
Everyone thought this hot little box of rocks was 12 or 13. But actually,
Naruto.
Sakura was a month older than her friend.
Damn. Bet Sakura parades that one around.
With her big forehead. Her big sexualized forehead.
Oh.
Maybe I won't be a witch, Sakura said thoughtfully, resting her chin on her hands. Maybe I'll be a disgusting monster with hanging eyeballs and green slime dripping down my face, and a loud crash made Sakura scream. It took her a few minutes to realize... Oh. Ah! Thanks, you
She
Steven.
screamed.
It took her a few seconds to realize that it was just a tray hitting the floor. She turned to see Hinata Hyuga, her face bright red, drop to her knees and start scooping his lunch off the floor.
He turned to see Sasuke struggling to hold all of his food with fruit roll-ups stuffed in his mouth.
She
trying to eat his fruit roll-ups at the same time.
She turned to see Sasuke look down at his hand and constantly clench it into a fist stickily, going, "Oh man, I hate this so much. Why'd I do that?"
He turned to see Sasuke's mouth covered in red goop as he's trying to wipe his mouth with his hands. Doesn't have any napkins.
With his stupid sleeve thing.
He's wiping it on his fucking wrist warmers, staining them permanently. Ah, man.
Staining them red.
That'll never come out.
Why'd I do that? Damn.
Damn, Kakashi just made these for me.
Sakura hunched down in her seat, embarrassed that she had screamed. Her breathing had just returned to normal when a strong hand grabbed her shoulder from behind. Sakura's shriek echoed through the room.
Classic
I thought you
Sakura.
were going for an Afghani scream right there.
We just stole a joke. High five.
He doesn't need it where he's going.
What do you mean where he's going?
Poverty.
Oh.
You've seen his live streams on YouTube?
His family vacations.
Where he eats old fucking shrinky dink shit and then tries to feed it to his little kids, and everyone on the stream's like, "Rip."
He tries to eat shrinky dinks.
It's like, you know those creepy crawler things that you make in that like lead oven? You make your own gummies. He got those from like the 30s, from when they first came out.
Lead
and
paint gummies.
he made like cinnamon gummies. Fed one to himself, fed two to his little baby kids, and the entire stream's like, "Goodbye, Jeff. Goodbye, Jeff."
R.I.P.
He killed his
Rip.
kids.
He's like, "I'm going, and you're going with me." I'm gonna have me 2 new puppets soon.
I can't go to heaven alone, surely you understand. She heard laughter. At another table, someone yelled, "Way to go, Naruto!"
Way to go, Naruto.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
She whipped her head around to see her friend Naruto Uzumaki standing behind her, a mischievous grin on his face. "Gotcha," he said, letting go of her shoulder. Naruto pulled out of the chair next to Sakura's and lowered himself over its back. His best friend, Sasuke Uchiha, slammed his book bag onto the table and then sat down next to Ino.
His sticky book bag.
He slams
So
on.
Naruto put his hand on her shoulder. She screamed, then the entire lunchroom goes, "Way to go, Naruto!"
No, just someone.
Okay.
He just slams his book bag on the ground. You see various fruit snacks pour out of his backpack.
He took his mom's home variety pack box.
Do you think it was Sasuke yelling from 1 foot away across the table?
Yes, someone.
right in Sakura's face.
Someone named Sasuke.
I want to draw Sasuke as just the generic fat guy. God.
Naruto. Naruto.
He stuffs more into his mouth.
Hold on.
Sorry, like half these paragraphs begin with Naruto. Naruto and Sasuke looked so much alike. They could have been brothers, not really, but...
They're also not friends, especially not early on.
Both were tall and thin, one with straight blonde hair.
Neither of them are tall or thin.
Here's a question.
One does not have straight hair.
Here's a question. Do you think when he and Sasuke kissed, Sasuke slipped him some of his pre-chewed fruit roll-up?
His ABFL. ABFR.
They kiss and Naruto's mouth is immediately like warm, sticky, sweet,
Red.
red around his lips everywhere.
It just looks like he has a rash, but it's just fruit snack.
You
They
see,
make lip contact and he just ejects fruit snack in Naruto's mouth.
just dripping down their fucking chins.
Sasuke's mouth is just a cannon waiting to burst.
He's just like sitting there, and Naruto like gets bumped in, and he goes,
Just loogies it out.
the whole 3
cylinder
feet.
Cylinder of pure goo.
God. Yeah, it's like pouring out a fucking can of sludge.
Yeah.
Like a thing of cranberry sauce. Grody.
Do you mind?
Yeah.
Both were tall and thin, one with straight blonde hair, the other with straight black hair,
Naruto's hair is not straight.
which they usually hid under their headbands. Both had dark blue eyes and goofy grins. Sasuke never smiles. Both wore faded jeans and dark colors.
No, that's accurate. They definitely always wear faded jeans.
They wear faded.
Both the actual sentence is both wore faded jeans and dark colored long sleeve t-shirts.
Guy Hardy t-shirts.
Faded jeans. Sasuke's riddled with red stains.
They went to the Gap.
Sasuke's splotchy red stains on his sweater.
And both of them loved to scare Sakura.
Yeah.
They loved to startle her, to make her jump and shriek. They spent hours dreaming up new ways to frighten her.
As they would.
Indeed.
You having a snack on my podcast?
Or had to.
Not
Alright, then give us a Pringles Loud super cheesy Italian review.
It does taste like those breadsticks you would give a pizza. It's pretty good. What's your consensus?
They're too flavorful.
I got you.
They're too jam-packed. I mean, that's usually the thing about Pringles, but I guess
They are
Pringles
Pringles
loud.
Mm.
They really sugar blast it.
I feel you. Sorry guys, I had a snack. When I'm on my diet train, sometimes I go at it too hard and I get hypoglycemic. That was me preventing me from passing out.
That would have been good for the podcast.
You should do the cinnamon challenge with Cheetos flavor, or no, goldfish flavor blasted dust.
I would love to do that. I love Flavor Blast.
I
The
used to
cinnamon
leave.
challenge with cinnamon.
I used to leave those in the fridge. They get cold and extra like sticky with the flavor blast stuff
Oh wow.
when I was like 10. But I think if I did that now, I'd probably throw up.
Alright, George, go ahead.
Let's see. She vowed every time that she would never fall for one of their stupid tricks again. But so far, they had own every time. They had own every time. Sakura always threatened to pay them back, but in all the time they'd been friends, she hadn't been able to think of anything good enough. Sasuke reached for the remaining chips in Ino's bag. She playfully slapped his hand away. Get your own.
Get your own, funny guy.
Funny guy. Naruto held a crinkled hunk of aluminum foil under Sakura's nose.
Okay.
Want a
What?
sandwich? I don't want it.
Is he making
Okay.
fun of her nose, saying, "Oh, I got a sandwich," making fun of how big it is or something?
No, he's trying to make her smell it. His
Oh,
crumpled hunk of aluminum foil.
God.
Sakura sniffed it suspiciously. What kind is it? I'm starving. It's a turkey sandwich. Here, Naruto said, handing it to Sakura. It's too dry. My mom forgot the mayo. You want it? Yeah, sure. Thanks, Sakura exclaimed. She took the sandwich from him and peeled back the aluminum foil. Then she took a big bite of the sandwich. As she started to chew, she realized that both Naruto and Sasuke were staring at her with big grins on their faces. Something tasted funny, kind of sticky and sour,
Oh my god.
almost like a fruit roll-up
No.
crammed into a
It all
sandwich.
comes full circle. Sasuke's gonna be like, sorry, that's mine.
Just Sasuke's everything is a fucking fruit roll.
Those fruit snacks.
God damn.
Sakura stopped chewing. Sasuke and Naruto were laughing now. Ino looked confused. Sakura uttered a disgusted groan and spit the chewed up sandwich hunk into a napkin.
Just like that, I'm sure.
Then she pulled the bread apart and saw a big brown worm resting on top of the turkey.
Gross.
Oh,
Oh! With
I
a
know-
moan, she covered her face with her hands.
I know what this is parodying now.
The room erupted with laughter. Cruel laughter. I ate a worm! I'm going to be sick! Sakura groaned. She jumped to her feet and stared angrily at Naruto. How could you? She demanded. It isn't funny! It isn't a real worm, Sasuke said. Naruto was
Sasuke
laughing
looking
too
cool.
hard to talk. So yeah, Sasuke's the cool guy.
This is a real worm. I know real worms.
As he fucking takes out his gas station gummy worms and slips one into his jowl.
Inside
Like
of
a
his coat
freaking
pocket.
dip.
Yeah. Into his lip.
His dip gummy worm through his lip, yeah.
A pinch of fucking funfetti or whatever.
Burning a hole in his jaw.
Plaque dildo.
Huh? Sakura gazed down at it and felt a wave of nausea rise up from her stomach. It isn't real. It's rubber. Pick it up, Sasuke said, grinning.
Still chewed it.
Sakura hesitated. Kids all through the vast room were whispering and pointing at her and laughing.
She was
Go
scared.
ahead. It isn't real. Pick it up, Sasuke said, grinning. Sakura reached down with 2 fingers and reluctantly picked up the brown worm from the sandwich. It felt warm and sticky. Gotcha again, Sasuke said with a laugh. It was real!
What?
A real worm!
What the hell, Sasuke?
What kind of fake out is that?
That was shitty, Sasuke.
That's asinine! Imagine if she took another bite.
With a horrified cry, Sakura tossed the worm at Sasuke, who was laughing wildly. Then she leapt away from the table, knocking the chair over. As the chair clattered noisily against the hard floor, Sakura covered her mouth and ran, gagging from the lunchroom. I could still taste it, she thought. I could still taste the worm in my mouth. I'll pay them back for this, Sakura thought bitterly as she ran. I'll pay them back. I really will. As she pushed through the double doors and hurtled towards the girls' room, the cruel laughter followed her across the hall. After school, Sakura hurried through the halls without talking to anyone. She heard kids laughing and whispering. She knew they were laughing at her. Word had spread all over the school that Sakura Haruno had eaten a worm at lunch. Sorry, I gagged there thinking about that worm bit. Sakura the scaredy cat. Sakura who was frightened of her own shadow. Sakura who was so easy to trick. Sasuke and Naruto had sneaked a real worm, a fat brown worm, into a sandwich, and Sakura had taken a big bite. What a jerk! Sakura ran all the way home, 3 long blocks. Which, if they're ninjas, probably isn't that much for their stamina, I gotta say.
I mean, 3 blocks is still like eyesight distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Sasuke's being weighed down with all that sugar, so who knows?
Her anger grew with every step. How could they do that to me? They're supposed to be my friends. Why do they think it's so funny to scare me? She burst into the house, breathing hard. Anybody home? She called, stopping in the hallway and leaning against the banister to catch her breath. Her mother hurried out from the kitchen. Sakura! Hi! What's wrong? I ran all the way, Sakura told her, pulling off her blue windbreaker. Why? Miss Haruno asked.
Why?
Just felt like it, Sakura said moodily.
As if it wasn't her own fault.
Her mother took Sakura's windbreaker and hung it in the closet for her. Then she brushed a hand affectionately through Sakura's soft pink hair. Where'd you get that straight hair? She muttered. Her mother was always saying that. What? We don't look like mother and daughter at all, Sakura realized. Her mother was a tall, chubby woman with thick curls of coppery hair and lively gray-green eyes. She was extremely... I don't know. She was extremely energetic, seldom stood still, and talked as rapidly as she moved. Does Sakura have parents?
Probably.
I can't remember.
Did Itachi kill them too? He killed the Haruno clan for fun.
I had to prove myself, and then I also had to kill the Haruno clan for unrelated reasons.
He's like chuckling under his breath.
God, they're so easy. Haruno clan.
So easy.
Imagine an Uchiha and a Haruno in the same room together.
God, I don't know, probably. I mean, she's never cited specifically as an orphan, so I would imagine so. I know what Ino's parents look like, but I don't know what Sakura's parents look like, so.
Yeah, I don't think they've ever shown her parents, even though they say like she clearly has parents.
I'll look them up. I'll tell you if it's canon, but keep reading.
Okay. Today, she was wearing a paint-stained gray sweatshirt over black lycra tights.
Sounds like
See,
her.
this is... It's things like that. Why is it Naruto? Why is it Naruto?
I don't know. Why the hell? Why would they keep the attires?
They're Goosebumps Canadian attire.
God.
It's Mabuki Haruno.
You have a picture of her?
Oh, yes. That is not accurate to the story.
Oh, God.
Not at all. Not one bit.
I don't like it.
But I don't like her.
Her debut was on Naruto Shippuden episode 271.
What the heck?
What?
Why'd they wait that long?
Jeez. That's ridiculous.
Why even bother at that point?
Seriously.
Why so grumpy? Miss Haruno asked. Anything you want to talk about? Sakura.
Sorry, the Naruto wiki did that.
Cursed.
Oh yeah, the who is thing that they have at the top.
Sakura shook her head. Not really. She didn't feel like telling her mother that she had become the laughingstock of Konoha's school of the village hidden in the leaves. See? That makes no sense with the plot they're building up here. Like she ran 3 blocks away. I don't think blocks even exist in ninja time. Her parents are wearing like freaking ghetto ratchet and painter clothes.
Oh.
But they're still in the village hidden in the leaves. Come her. I have something to show you, Mrs. Haruno said, tugging Sakura toward the living room. I'm really not in the mood, Mom, Sakura told her, hanging back. Come on, her mother insisted, and pulled her across the hallway. Sakura always found it impossible to argue with her mother. She was like a hurricane, sweeping everything in her direction.
This is like a self-insert.
This was probably before Shippuden happened.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, if she did, that friggin', forget what scene it was, but she did something to the ground. If it was true, she would have shattered the ground, being as she magically got super strength.
That line, "Where did you get your straight hair from?" is kind of like either it's from a show or it's just something really weirdly specific that the actual author's mom probably said.
Yeah.
Look, Miss Haruno declared, grinning and gesturing to the mantelpiece. Sakura followed her mother's gaze to the mantel and cried put in surprise. It's a head! Not just any head, Miss Haruno said, beaming. Go on. Take a closer look.
If it's the head of Sasuke, I don't want to read this anymore.
It's okay, it comes with a mouthful of gushers.
It's a big Pez dispenser.
Take a closer look. Oh, it's just this Pez dispenser.
Oh, Pez.
Nice, thanks, Mom.
Sakura took a few... Oh, wait. Okay. Sakura took a few steps toward the mantelpiece, her eyes on the head staring back at her. It took her a few minutes to recognize the straight, pink hair, the green eyes, the short snip of the nose, the round cheeks. It's me, she cried, walking up to it. Yes, life-size, Miss Haruno declared. I just came from the art class at the museum. I finished it today. What do you think? Sakura picked it up and studied it closely. It looks just like me, Mom. Really? What's it made of? Plaster of Paris, her mother replied, taking it from Sakura and holding it up so that Sakura was face to face, eye to eye with herself. You have to be careful. It's delicate. It's hollow, see? Sakura stared intently at the bed, peering into her eyes. It's kind of creepy, she muttered. You mean because I did such a good job? Her mother demanded. It's just creepy, that's all, Sakura said. She forced herself to look away from the replica of herself and saw that her mother's smile had faded. Mrs. Haruno looked hurt. Don't you like it? Yeah, sure, it's really good, Mom, Sakura answered quickly. But, why on earth did you make it? Because I love you, Miss Haruno replied curtly. Why else? Honestly, Sakura, you have the strangest reactions to things. I worked really hard on this sculpture. I thought, I'm sorry, Mom. I like it. Really, I do, Sakura insisted. It was just a surprise, that's all. It's great. It looks just like me. I had a bad day, that's all. Sakura took another long look at the sculpture. Its green eyes, her green eyes, stared back at her. The pink hair shimmered in the afternoon, sunlight through the window. It smiled at me, Sakura thought, her mouth dropping open. I saw it. I just saw it smile. No, it had to be a trick of the light. It was a plaster of Paris head, she reminded herself. Don't go scaring yourself over nothing, Sakura. Haven't you made a big enough fool of yourself today? Thanks for showing it to me, Mom, she said awkwardly. Pulling her eyes away, she forced the smile. 2 heads are better than 1, right? Right, Mrs. Haruno agreed brightly. Incidentally, Sakura, your duck costume is all ready. I put it on your bed.
Your duck costume.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Duck costume? You saw a duck costume at the ball, remember? Mrs. Haruno carefully placed the sculpted head on the mantel.
I remember you said, I love ducks. My name's Sakura. Quack, quack. And I said, okay, I'll buy it for you. I know it's a lot of money, but you do like ducks.
She lifts up the Sasuke head, goes, it's completely hollow, and then she taps it and fruit by the foot comes out.
Roll that of his tongue.
My favorite. Mrs. Haruno carefully placed the sculpted head on the mantel. The one with all the feathers and everything. You thought it'd be funny to be a duck for Halloween, so I made you a duck costume.
That'd be funny. I said it's not funny, but if you insist.
I thought it's pretty funny, so I bought it for you. Now you
That'd
have
be
to.
funny, so I made it for you. Wear it.
Oh, right, Sakura said, her mind spinning. Do I really want to be a stupid duck this Halloween, she thought. I'll go up and take a look at it, Mom. Thanks.
And I said, yes, absolutely I do. It's very funny. Mom was right.
Moms are always right. Especially when it comes to comedy. Sakura had forgotten all about the duck costume. I don't want to be the cute this Halloween, she thought as she climbed the stairs to her room. I want to be scary. She had seen some really scary looking masks in the window of a new party store that opened a few blocks from school. One of them, she knew, would be perfect.
Oh my god, this is just the haunted mask.
Yeah. I knew from the minute the friggin' worm scene hit.
I didn't remember too specifically until now.
That's like a Halloween tradition, man.
Watching the haunted mask.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
good.
Scary Godmother.
I remember the plot of the haunted mask, but I didn't remember the worm or anything. I just remember that they wanted to wear the mask.
Like the core
It would be
stuff.
scary.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But now she'd have to walk around in feathers and have everyone quack at her and make fun of her. It wasn't fair. Why did her mother have to listen to every word she said? Just because Sakura had admired a duck costume in a store didn't mean she wanted to be a stupid duck for Halloween. Sakura hesitated outside her bedroom. The door had been pulled closed for some reason. She never closed the door. She listened carefully. She thought she heard someone breathing on the other side of the door. Someone or something. The breathing grew louder. Sakura pressed an ear to the door. What was in her room? There was only one way to find out. Sakura pulled open the door and uttered a startled cry. And that's where we leave off, I guess.
Whoa!
Dun 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 dun!
Will Sakura be a duck? Will her mom think it is funny?
Yes,
The answer
and
is-
yes.
Will Sasuke be a gusher?
Will Sasuke continue to laugh and eat gushers and turn his lips red?
Sasuke just turned red for all we.
Will Sasuke pull a fast one on yet another girl?
Sasuke's... I can't even say.
A double fast one. Can't just make a joke, take it back, and then put it back again. That's terrible. Oh,
I'm gonna rate that 2 feet out of a 3 foot long fruit by the foot because that story was going somewhere, but I didn't get fully satisfied because I didn't get the extent of my treat.
I give that the loud sloshing of a gusher in Arlstein's cheek.
His wrinkled old cheek.
I give it...
I love the haunted
Arlstein
mask.
goes to the grocery store and sees a vending machine for gushers, and you put a quarter in and you get a handful. But he puts a quarter in and he only gets one, and he looks down sadly and puts it in his mouth and tries to squish it up in his mouth, but it's really stale, so it doesn't really break up very easily. Then he gets more sad and goes over to the trash can, spits it out, and leaves the grocery store and doesn't get groceries because he's so sad about the gusher.
Then he turns around and he sees a kid put money in, and then the kid gets double the gusher, so he comes back and he
Stop it!
and beats up the kid. And he goes, I'm gonna write a Goosebumps book about this.
So naturally he puts his hands on the kid.
It's not even about the gushers at this point, it's about the principal. The little brat owes him something and he's not giving it to him.
Yeah, the progression of those exact events is how the story went along.
Yeah.
What a cliffhanger, though.
Yeah, man.
I have to say, before we move on, that as I was scrolling through these, I saw 2 stories that had the exact same description. They had simply changed the names around to match another thing that another like franchise that I don't know about. But it was literally word for word the exact thing, just with different names
God
by
damn,
the same
okay.
author. So they were just like shoveling out different
Shovelware,
like
Goosebumps
shovelware
fanfic.
fanfic. Just pumping out their Ninja Bread Man and their what's the other one? Candyland Girl.
Oh. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Stevano.
Ivan. Mine's pretty short, so I got a second one if
I bet I know what it is.
It's okay. In the city of China, a goose and a young panda.
Hold on.
What's wrong?
The city of China, the biggest country.
I didn't even fucking catch that!
Me neither. You didn't either. Favorite audience member?
In the city of China. A goose and a young panda are driving, and it looks like they're moving to a new town with a new life waiting for them.
Yeah, where in China?
Oh, I know what this is, but it's not the one I thought it'd be.
That city?
I've already figured it out.
The
Yeah,
young
I
panda looks out the window. Dad, are you sure this town would be perfect? The young panda asks. Don't worry, Poe. This new school and new life would be perfect. I'm
Wait,
sure
they're
of it.
driving in a car?
Yeah, Poe.
It's at a cart, right? Not a car.
It's not saying. No, it just says.
They were just driving?
Yeah, they're just driving.
Okay.
You're
Huh?
safe.
Poe looked out the window and saw his brand new school. He sighs. Dad, why is this the only place I was looking for a vice principal? Trust me, son. I called New York. They didn't call me back. I called Chicago. They had a rough attitude. I called California, Poe smirked. Yes! Dad smiled.
He called these states
He called
Looking to be a
California.
vice principal.
out of China.
Why?
As a
The
noodle
city-
shop
the great
owner.
city of China.
I'd fucking go to a school where the goose who's Poe's dad is vice principal.
Yeah, this Chinese goose mongoloid creature is gonna be your vice principal.
We'd
California State.
We'd have authentic ramen in our lunch.
No, you wouldn't.
Yeah.
He couldn't afford it.
Soon Poe and his dad arrived at the new house and started to unpack for their new house.
Why does he want to be a vice principal? He's a noodle man. He has a self-sustaining
I
business.
tried calling America, but they couldn't understand me and said I had no experience.
That's a good fucking point. That's actually. I hope that's actually a good
Chinese
fucking
honk
joke.
noises here.
It's like a double joke because he speaks Chinese and he's a fucking animal.
It's also implying that they formerly lived in the States.
Poe thought the new house was pretty awesome himself and thought the inside was beautiful too. And his new room was the same thing too. Poe, still, need help please, his dad called out.
I had a stroke.
Oh, please!
No, need help, please. Dad, you have one of your strokes?
Dad, take your pill!
It's Poe, exclamation mark. Still, comma, need help please. Coming, he goes down the stairs. Poe begins to grab more boxes, but what he didn't know, that someone from next door is watching him. Poe saw it, but didn't take a good look who through the window. Poe put the boxes down and went to see what it was. There was a black fence, and from next door was a scary house that looked like from an old horror movie. The blinds opened up, and Poe saw a young tiger who looked around his age. Hi, Poe waved to her. Hi, so you're new here, huh? She asked. Yeah, my dad just moved here. It looks pretty nice so far. I'm Poe, by the way. Tigress, nice to meet you, she replied back. Tigress, what did we say? Tigress, what did we say? A red panda comes in black. A red panda comes in black.
Okay.
Tigress sights. Sorry, Dad. I was just saying hi to a new neighbor. She walks away and the red panda stares at Poe.
Gonna say hi to me, Poe?
Hi, sir. Hi, sir. There's nothing wrong. Just saying hi, and the red panda cut him off. You see this fence? He glares at him. Yeah, but I was just... Stay away, or something bad will happen. He slams the window and shuts the blinds.
Is this like a Kung Fu Panda parody of the movie or something?
It's a Kung Fu Panda of, I think, the, God, what's the Dead House, I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, it's from the 2015 Goosebumps movie. Alright, it sounded like the intro to Dead House.
The Red Panda's Jack Black.
No, it's
Poe's
not.
also Jack Black.
The Red Panda's not Jack Black. The Red Panda's not Jack Black.
He is in the movie.
He is? That's insane.
Jack Black plays R.L. Stein.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Kung Fu Panda. I was about to say.
That means this Poe is like the TV show, not Jack Black.
You're right. Later in the evening, Poe's dad came up to his new room and knocked on the door. Poe, dinner's ready. He didn't get an answer, so he knocked once again. Poe, dinner's ready. He then hears his son's phone with his wife's voice, and hearing her voice as she was teaching Poe how to cake.
His son's wife.
How to cake?
Yeah, hearing his son's phone with his wife's voice, and hearing her voice as she was teaching Poe how to cake. Poe was watching the video as he was saddened for some reason. Poe sighs. Mom, I miss you.
She was teaching him how to basic. Yeah. He was just watching how to basic videos and being sad.
Poe's goose dad was how to basic this whole time.
His wife's voice, the how to basic like grunt noises. Oh, my wife.
Poe sights.
That's just Poe jacking off in there.
But Poe didn't know that his dad was hearing him from outside his door. And that's it for that one. Okay, alright.
Good story.
I rate that the guy that voices Poe in the animated series, so not Jack Black, because it's not as authentic as I want it to be. It's close, but not there.
Operating under the assumption that Jack Black wrote that himself, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. You can do a little bit, I mean, that wasn't even really...
That was pretty shitty, I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry, Jack.
Like, I had fun with some of it, but at the same time, too, it's so poorly written. Like, they keep sighing, but he keeps writing sights.
Jack, you should know that China is not a city, or whatever you said.
The city.
You should know better.
Alright, and here's my other one that's shorter? Oh, no, it's slightly longer. Zim opened the door to his base and threw a box on the couch. Okay, let's see who sent me this thing. He took the note that was laying on top of the box. Written over the note was, Zim, since you collect creepy dolls, I thought you might want to add Slappy to your collection. Love a good friend.
Going hard right from the get-go.
A friend?
Coming in
A friend? I don't remember having any friends around here. Oh well. Zim opened the box and took out a dummy. The dummy looked like a gentleman, but it had something creepy. The dummy had orange hair, coffee-colored skin, and had a card sticking out of its pocket. But before Zim could get a hold of it, the dummy looked at him and said, Hey, don't you know it's not nice to take things out of other people's pockets? Zim dropped the doll and backed away. Zim, what are you doing? A familiar voice behind him said. Zim turned to face his tallists. Oh, I just got this creepy doll and then it came to life and I still don't know if it's going to kill me, he said, panicking. Okay, Zim. Do you got a sugar rush or so? Purple asked. Red just nodded. Hey, Zim, old pal, can't you get yourself a decent robot? I mean, this thing looks like it's going to explode every second now, Slappy said, getting a dirty look from Zim. Hey, I'm just giving you good advice, buddy. Who are you talking to, by the way? Slappy stood up from the couch and walked to Zim, making us stop next to him. God, this is so... let's see, Wow, last time I saw someone in that kind of dresses was when Auntie Daisy came to visit from Australia, the doll said. Slappy, Zim said, but the doll wouldn't quit. Hey, stop giving me orders, you pain in the ass invader. Go play with it. Go.
Slappy's got a sharp tongue all of a sudden.
Slappy came in hot to this house he doesn't live in.
He just they're at the
Barking
fucking...
orders.
Zim brought him to the tallest and he just hopped up and started pestering him.
But they're taller than him.
Exactly. Go play with your dolls while I have a chat with those oversized lizards, Slappy answered, pissing off the tallest. Zim, get rid of that thing before I come to Earth and kill you with my bare hands, Red said, having heard enough. Ooh, Bloody Mary, you'll kill yourself at this range, Slappy said, then turned to Purple. Hey, Violet, is he the smart one? He asked, laughing. Purple thought for a moment and came up with a plan. No, he's not the smart one, but at least he's smarter than you, he said, grinning sinisterly. Hey, look, you amethyst! I'm the one making here the cruel jokes. Slappy started to get mad. Oh, really? Because last time I saw such a bad act was on my nephew's birthday party. Purple stayed cool, and that smile just got larger and larger every time he pissed the dummy more off. At least my act's better than the act of an oversized purple paintbrush. Now Purple got Slappy where he wanted him. Mine. Is that the only word you can say? Why don't you say Zim kill me for a change, Slappy looked mad at Purple, then he turned around and faced Zim. Zim, kill me, he said, and then realized what he had done. But it was too late for poor old Slappy, because before he could say something else, Zim smashed the dummy's head with a giant hammer. Agreed. Uh-oh.
Hammer.
Oh no, guys. A green cloud came from the hole in the dummy's head and vanished in midair. Glad that's over, Red said, cooling down. Purple just ended the transmission. He and his co-tallest had enough for the day. Zim just started to pick up the piece of the doll's head and brought them over to the city cesspool, dumping him there. Back home, he was enjoying a movie. Gerlin picked a movie this time. The movie he picked was a horror movie by Tim Burton called The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. But suddenly Zim hears Slappy's voice. He looked at Gur and Gur's eyes flashed green. You didn't thought you could get rid of me that easy, did you? Gur said and laughed. Zim just stared in horror. The end. That's what I was talking That's what I was talking about, how Slappy's soul can fucking possess people. Alright, and that's my... I give that nothing because I didn't like it.
Assuming Jack Black also wrote that one, I'll give it a 2 out of 10. That was even worse, Jack. Come on.
Come on. Actually, I'll give it like 0.5 out of 10 just because I really like the part where Slappy got up and just cursed out Zim. That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. I'll give it a busted puppet head out of 10.
Oh, on to story time.
All right.
Finally, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Having heard some of these fanfic, I'm concerned because mine isn't like based on any specific story. I just made up my own sci-fi thing.
I got you.
I gotta...
Didn't you do a crossover?
Yes.
Sweet.
But it's like Goosebumps themed, another property.
I got you.
But is there a Goosebumps reference in it? Or did you just make a scary story?
I just made a scary story.
Oh, sweet. Does it have Joey's World Tour in it? That's pretty scary.
It has Arlstein.
Oh, hell yeah.
Not really.
Same thing.
Yeah. Joey has all the names of his favorite Goosebumps book in his Death Note.
I'm not gonna publish this right now, it's too much work. I was gonna wait to publish it until we read it, but if I did that, then it would take too much time.
I got you.
Okay, this story is called A Changed Man. Today was it. Today was the day. A young boy was going to pull himself up by his puny size 4 bootstraps and make himself a man of the world. He had packed all of his belongings into a comical plastic rolling suitcase and covered it in stickers as he had seen so many others at the train station do. Of course, having been nowhere special or noteworthy in his life, he had to settle for some of those stickers that cost 75 cents at the flea market, or a dollar at the shady gas station with no working pumps. His suitcase looked like it was bought at a garage sale 10 years earlier, and the children who were owners before him had put several stickers on it, then tried to rip some of them off, and cover it up again, and then kicked it down a flight of stairs. His suitcase looked bad, but he felt not bad. He felt nice. A little cold, maybe. Honestly, the weather was not suitable for a day trip. It was probably 45 degrees outside, and he had no jacket, so he had to wear 4 t-shirts on top of each other and a ski mask. His outfit looked bad, but he felt not bad. He felt nice. He wore khaki slacks in case he needed to look formal, and running shoes in case he needed to run, in case someone stole his $3 plastic suitcase or his ski mask, in case someone thought he was a robber and decided to run away, and needed to run after them and scream at them that he was not a robber, waving his cane that he also had because one of his legs didn't work so well. Probably the size 4 feet, one of which was really a size 6. He wasn't a fool who was going to go and buy 2 different pairs of shoes, though, or get in a fight with a teenager at the shoe store about buying 1 shoe in each size. His time was precious and limited, for today was the big day. A big day, he said, looking in the mirror. You couldn't see much of his body now besides the skin of his arms and hands, what with the shirts, ski mask, pants, and more shirts and tiny boots. He was getting hot. It was time to leave. Squeezing into the driver's seat of the car, he reached into his shirt pocket and pulled out an old crumpled sketch pad. He went over the notes on his hot wiring vehicle. It was a Ford Anglia. The Weasleys had been foolish enough to leave it unlocked, and this young wizard had sticky fingers, to say the least. Blimey, what a day! Good thing Ma and Pa usually sleep until about 3. Hell, if I'm getting up early on me big day. To the untrained eye, Ron's notes were completely useless. And if you can consider Ron's eyes trained, then they would have been completely useless anyways. However, his notebook had always been special. Funny thing about this old notepad, I can write things about things I have no prior knowledge on, and it all just makes sense. This thing practically raised me. I wrote about how to cook, how to do laundry, how to do my schoolwork, how to never have to do any of those things for myself, and not get in trouble. This bad boy does it all. You may be thinking, with a gadget this clever, Ron could be a true Renaissance man, but that's where you're overestimating Ron. Ron wanted to use his notepad to become a man of the world, all right, but not in the way you might expect. Moments later, as Ron began to rev the engine, Ginny walked outside cautiously towards him. The man with 4 shirts and a ski mask on, frantically jamming his arms into the dash of their old blue car. Hey Ron, is everything okay out here? Ginny, go back inside. Don't tell anyone what you saw out here. Why? Did you forget the keys? Mom and Dad said the car is yours now. You don't have to hotwire it and break the dash anymore. Ginny, it's too late. I'm gonna become a man of the world by stealing sweet, sweet green from every single bank in the world. And this notebook's gonna tell me how. There's nothing you can do or any of your red-haired kin can do to stop me. With that, Ron took off in a stutter as he approached 30 miles per hour, the fastest the old car could go, into the sky. Ginny shook her head. Have a safe trip, Ron. Ron gained altitude and pored over his notes. They looked like nothing short of gibberish, with drawings here and there, some pertaining to the task at hand and others drawings of his friends and loved ones. They taught him to drive this old thing. Despite his years of practice, it all seemed foreign to him, fumbling around. Thankfully, the notepad kept him sober and on a straight path. He wished somewhere deep down he could have brought Harry along, or the smart one with the long hair, brown, and really, really dry. Yes, Ron liked that one. But now was not the time. He had something else to do, and he had to do it alone. As Ron took off higher into the cold air, his eyes wild and hollow, his knuckles white, he knew the power had done something to him. The old worn notepad had drained him of what was once humanity, for every time he learned something he lost something. It had begun years ago, and he liked it, choosing to gain, feeling lighter all the same. Now flying through the foggy London air, he faded in and out, in and out, in and out. He felt tired, and before long became what scarcely resembled a shadow in the mist. This inhuman red-haired creature. Higher and higher he flew, never to be heard from again. Until next time, to be continued. And that was my Harry Potter x Goosebumps crossover.
Finally, Harry Potter can take over as the most crossovers on the Goosebumps tag.
Finally.
Yeah, I'll post it.
It's hitting at a high 2 with a couple other things.
Okay, I'll post it now. It's gonna be called A Changed Man.
Finally, Ron's getting the money he deserves. His sister just comes outside and tells her off. You can't stop me!
Jenny, go back in the house and forget everything you saw here. He's wearing 4 shirts and a ski mask. Hot wiring the vehicle when he has a key.
4 fucking shirts!
He doesn't have a jacket.
He's wearing this disguise, but like he's on his top layers like his R shirt from the game. So people still know who he is.
It's just PS1 model Ron Weasley running around.
There's a mini game where you're his accomplice. Harry, use your vodka.
Harry, use the killing curse right now! I don't know, Ron. That sounds pretty rough.
That sounds like a lot.
Doesn't sound like a good idea.
Harry,
please!
Harry, press the triangle button to a vodka.
When you're ready to come along, jump and press the circle button.
Press the
circle button to enter targeting mode, and press the triangle button to use your Avada Kedavra.
Press the triangle button to use Avada Kedavra.
Press both triggers to Wingardium Leviosa the money out of the establishment, Harry.
Can I just say I've been really enjoying Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets on PlayStation 1. Much different from the PS2 version you all are more likely remembering. Check that out.
Yeah, it was. They used like a sort of like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. They used some of the assets in the engine to create a second game, similar but builds on and does a lot of interesting stuff from the first game. Like
they brought Peeves back, and I'm not even sure if he's in the book.
I don't think so.
He's
in the
hideous.
second book.
They do. They do a good job. I like the part where you can literally get assaulted by a train in the fucking Weasley car and get put in the hospital.
Yeah, it's a very weird situation where a PS1 game can somehow nail the atmosphere despite being a PS1 game.
Yeah, they get the textures really spot on.
Let alone a brand of PS1 game. But it has very nice music. The atmosphere is on point with the Harry Potter series, and I believe they were both before the movies started filming, so it's all going based off of the book.
Yeah, there's actually less filler than there was in the first game. The first game had things like just like mini games and like dungeons and things that just didn't fit into the story at all. And the second one is very streamlined to just follow the story and get stuff done, which is kind of nice.
Like nearly Headless Nick's birthday or death day party.
Yeah.
How cool would it be if when we get to like the basilisk and he gets the sword out of the sorting hat, it turns into like a Zelda boss and you get like Z targeting and shit?
How like
I
Dark
wouldn't doubt it.
Souls.
Yeah, how cool would that be?
It'd be sweet. I wouldn't doubt it. Honestly, they've done a lot of interesting things with the engine already.
Harry,
like 3/4 of the way through.
press the cross button to swing your sword and the L1 button to roll around on the floor.
I'm leaving you, Harry. You're going to die.
Harry, the entire control scheme is flipped. I don't have time to explain it all. You're fighting a giant snake. Just do your best.
Throw me that sword, Harry. Thank you.
I'm sure it'll be a better final boss than the Sorcerer's Stone game.
Oh yeah, that was
where
easy.
Professor Quirrell just chases you around a circular room and then tries to choke you out.
God.
And you just mash the X button until you get the credits.
We were speedrun racing that game, and frickin' that boss made me so mad because I was trying to catch up and I was almost to the end boss, but it was so easy and dumb. We just watched him like throw out just consistent. It was just like
killing curses.
Yeah, it's dumb.
The friggin' bank scene is
The
ridiculous.
Gringotts bank level was the hardest shit in the first game.
I love that level.
It's so finicky.
When you got to that, I was just like feeling for you guys, like, oh fuck.
We would have beaten that game in like 4 hours if there wasn't that whole hour of us playing the bank.
Right.
I got through it pretty quick.
Like, yeah, George got through it on like his 3rd attempt, and you like got I don't blame you though. Don't get me wrong.
You were drinking a lot of alcohol that you've
I
never
was
done
trying.
It would have been hard regardless, honestly.
I was trying to drink a gallon of Shock Top also.
before. It was his birthday. He
My
deserved
21st birthday. I had to drink a lot of Shock Top. It was
I,
the coolest beer.
I drank a lot of Hug. 1 gallon, in fact.
I don't think any of us drank very much except one of our friends who then went outside and threw up all over the patio.
That was a shame, man.
That was very fun. Hey, your birthday's coming up soon. What do you want to do for your birthday?
Race Harry Potter 2 on PS1.
Oh,
No alcohol.
It's round 2. That's fine.
I guess we've been rambling for a little bit, so we should wrap it up. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, we have all of our Twitter links, SoundCloud, and everything like that in the description below. Please make sure to share us with your friends if you enjoyed what we do here. We upload every 2 weeks. Try to do it on Sunday. Sometimes rendering can be nasty. But we try to do a bi-weekly show. And each episode is 1 to 2 hours long, sometimes longer if we go on a rant of sorts.
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Share us with your friends, check out the Twitters, all that. And thanks so much for listening, everybody.
Stay tuned for the new Ronald Weasley Band of Thieves game.
If you're interested in being on the podcast and have an interesting subject or story you'd like to read, PM us on Twitter. That's all, folks. Good night.
30 dirty bots, every flavor bean.
I'm gonna kill you!